Welcome to the mobile home movement, where we showcase the beauty and affordability of mobile homes. Here we break false myths and share all the positive stories of how mobile home ownership transforms lives. I'm Franco Perez, and this is the Mobile Home Movement. What's going on, guys? Today we are at one of the first episodes of Mobile Home Movement, and today we have an amazing guest, a valued member of our team, Sunny. Sunny is an agent at our team, we're going to let her talk about her background before and how she got into it, actually. And then we want to talk about a recent client as well. But Sunny, for those that don't know you, who are you? What do you do?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Sunny. I'm a real estate agent in the Bay Area, specializing in mobile homes in the South Bay. Before that, I was in corporate doing sourcing and procurement in the makeup industry, which basically means that whenever a brand wants to launch certain products, I basically work with cross collaborative teams to make sure that it launches on time. So very timeline, project management centric.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this platform really, and excuse us for not being as structured, but
Yeah.
we really wanted to have a show where we talk a bit about the behind the scenes of our business, what we deal with, and really showcasing mobile homes and the beauty of it and how it's making a difference in families' lives and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Without going too deep into it, but what were kind of your thoughts of mobile homes? What was kind of your first perceptions, and then what was like your new beliefs after dealing with it?
Honestly, it wasn't. I feel like I had the same opinion or bad stigmas associated with mobile homes because I came from Washington. So Washington State, where mobile homes are 55 and up, they're like kind of removed and in the middle of nowhere. And then when you kind of look, they're just trailers. So that's kind of like the conception that I had. So when I moved down here, I met you. You're like, oh, I sell mobile homes. I'm like, you sell trailers?
I always get that.
Yeah. So I didn't really notice how many mobile home parks there were until I started getting into the industry. But then I remember like my first...
You didn't know, but you've lived here for like
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. I didn't know either.
Yeah. So when I started on your team and I started doing like open houses, my first open house was such a nice open house in Sunnyvale. I was like, what the heck? This looks way... like newer, better. It looks like a condo. And then it was like 1700 square feet too. So then I started inviting all my friends to my open houses. And then, because they had the same misconceptions too, that, oh, I was selling trailers.
Yeah.
So when I started posting on my social medias, I'm closing and during walkthroughs of mobile homes, they're like, okay, well, this should be a pretty good option for us when it comes time to buy real estate, because we can't afford that $1.7 million homes and competing against like these all cash buyers that I don't even know where it's coming from. And so,
yeah, man. So I know we're going to talk about the Myrna thing, but now I'm kind of curious, like, what was that like? I mean, the stigma breaking part, first you had to really realize and see it with your own eyes.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's kind of this weird thing where I want to prove to my friends that what I'm doing is kind of a beautiful thing too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So when I started selling more real estate and everything, my friends who weren't on real estate, they're like, why are you still selling mobile homes? Why don't you just do residential or even luxury, what you see on Selling Sunset and whatnot? But because they are chasing that like they're calculating like you can get this much commission for one house versus you can only get X amount for mobile homes. But I'm like, it's not just that. Like you said, selling real estate can be like, they have like this facade of being really sexy and whatnot. But when I discovered like my passion to not only help people, but I feel like how do I say it? I feel like I really found like my calling because
Yeah.
I get really emotionally invested in all of my clients too, and being able to help like middle class and working class families take that step towards home ownership and just a piece of the American dream is like not sexy to other people, but it's really, really rewarding.
Oh, totally. And
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, no, that's totally. I mean, for those listening too, is like my background was doing a lot of real estate for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of I I I love and hate this area, but one of the things about the Silicon Valley is that homes are so expensive, cost of living so expensive, and if you want to ever benefit from real estate, you have to be making 200K or more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
hated being an agent saying and having to tell families, unfortunately, you don't make enough money. Unfortunately, you don't have enough saved, and you can make more and save more, and then I can help you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
that's what I hated because I knew that those were people in my shoes, and they need help just equivalently as much, and that's why I'm passionate about it, and I love that you're such. I knew this because I knew you as a friend before you
Mm-hmm.
worked with this. Is that you're just as caring of a person, and it makes a difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going off track, but now I kind of want to have this conversation more about you.
Yes.
Like, what was like your learning structure like? How was it helping the first family? Um, I remember there was a
Oh
moment.
my gosh, I cried. We closed. I don't know if you remember.
I do.
But
I think I still have those clips of. Well, I mean, I for sure have the celebrating
mhm.
clips. What was that like? Tell me about this family because this is a perfect example of these families that can't afford real estate yet. They
Mhm.
work in this area because they have to, but they and yeah, tell us about that client because they were living in a room in someone's.
Yeah. So I will never forget my first clients. They were a Vietnamese couple with I think 13 to 15-year-old daughter, and they
Yeah.
were living behind like not even like an ADU unit in someone's backyard, but it was like a converted garage, and it was one bedroom, and the daughter had to sleep on the outside, and the living space was like super small.
I remember I walked in there.
Yeah, so the reason why they wanted to buy a mobile home was because the dad is a little bit older, so he's retired. He just retired, and the mom is working at a manufacturing company doing assembly. So he says that he wants to and they've been saving up for years, and he wants to set his family up for success. Where when he retires, the wife doesn't have to take on more hours
Hmm.
to work. So they saved up, I think about like 250,000 to buy a mobile home
Yeah.
in straight cash. And we were looking for about a month, and I found them this really nice.
I want to add too that for a lot of listeners, that's a lot of cash to just be having, right?
Yeah, but they were
keep in mind,
saving.
this was such a humble family,
Mm-hmm.
average like old Corolla. I think that is what they were driving,
Yeah, they were sharing
and
one car.
exactly, and I say that because it's such a humble story. It's like they worked so hard to save this money,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they have that amount saved. But to him, having this home was a sense of security that he knew that if he passed, his
Yes.
his wife and his kid was going to feel comfortable. And I remember that part of the story too.
Yeah, they were when I say like, oh, they only saved up like 250, it means like they were liquidating like a lot of their investments that they were saving up for like 20, 25 years.
Yes.
And so going back to the story, I found them this really nice mobile home. And by nice, it means it met everything that they wanted. They had fruit trees that they really liked. It was in magic sand. So and then the space rent was only $900.
Yeah.
And it was my first transaction. They knew it was my first transaction. I was so nervous, like negotiating. And thank God the listing agent was super nice and understanding as well. So we go pending, we get park approved and everything. They finally close on the home. And they were just so thankful because not only can the wife not have to work overtime every single week and not worry about having to work overtime, but now they can just work she can just work the 40 hours, spend time with her family, and then since they paid off their mobile home, his pension or his retirement or social security, it was enough to just pay for the space rent per month.
Yeah.
So with that extra money, since the daughter was 15, like 13 to 15 years old, and she wants to pursue college, they can start saving for her college now too.
Absolutely. And that's amazing because, and mind you, this is a very unsexy mobile home, right? It's not the new pretty ones that we're looking
No,
at.
it was a single wide.
It was a single wide, about maybe between 700 to 800 square feet. I think it was a one bedroom.
It was a 2 bedroom.
Oh, it was a 2 bedroom, one bath.
So she finally got her own room. They finally had a living room separate from an actual full kitchen that they could entertain guests.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and a lot of fruit trees, and they were just so happy about the backyard and everything too. Vietnamese people love their fruit trees.
I believe that, and they're very they're very smart with money, and that's why this was so important to them. They're smart with money because they or they value it and know how to take care of it. And the main thing I wanted to actually say as well is that this is a small, not so attractive home, right? But to some people could possibly look at this as, why would someone live here, right? But the truth of it is, for this family, they were tearing up. Like, I'm already tearing up right now remembering it, but
I miss them.
but they were of tears of joy. Wow, I am tearing up.
You are tearing. Oh my god.
Oh, okay. So they had tears of joy of closing this, and this is like the first thing they've ever owned, right?
Yeah.
And they were so happy, but that's the thing, is that people don't I feel
What?
like a baby.
Are you okay? I've never seen him cry like this.
Whoa.
He sees me crying and he's always like, "Why are you crying?"
All right. Oh, we gotta
Oh.
edit this out. No, just kidding. I don't know. But anyways,
Zoom in.
oh, I need a sec. But anyways, how do I say this? They were so happy, and you can see the genuine sense of joy that they had of owning this home. And this is what I mean, is like, there's not enough people helping people like this family because they feel like they're not worth their time. And I hate that part of this industry, is that everyone's focused on the sexy, helping multimillionaires buying mansions, but we don't have enough people that are helping families that can barely afford something get their first step of financial security. And it's that moment that's the most fulfilling thing over any paycheck.
Yes.
Right. And by doing that, you just want to, I know with you, like, it just made you want to help more. It didn't matter if friends or people were making fun of you for selling trailers or mobile homes. At that moment, it's more about that daughter and that mom and that dad feeling financially secure.
Yeah.
Everything else, all the shit talkers or whatever, doesn't matter anymore. It's just like, we know for a fact that there's families out there that need this.
Yeah. And
right?
it was so important to them. You could tell that they were so proud of themselves as parents because now they have a piece of property that they can pass on to the daughter. And then the daughter can either live there because San Jose's rent controlled. So she doesn't really have to worry about paying $2,500 for a 2-bedroom apartment or whatnot. But if she wanted to sell that in the future to use that equity to either upgrade mobile homes or even just put that as a down payment for a residential, they've really felt like they've made it. They've made and achieved the American dream because they've created that generational wealth.
Exactly. And without your help, they would probably have been stuck still renting, right? And do you remember what it sold for?
200,000.
200.
Last time, I think, I didn't really check last time, but I just went on Redfin. I didn't run any comps or anything, but Redfin estimate says it's about 250, 252 now.
Yeah. And that was only
last year, 1.5 years ago.
Jeez. See, and these homes do appreciate, they're financially secure. They've cut their monthly payment in half. Plus they have an extra whatever they paid, they have an extra 50K in equity, right?
Exactly.
And you made that happen for them. And that's where it's like,
It's just
so cool.
That's why it's just so rewarding and everything. I'm not like I said, of course everyone gets into real estate, or majority of people who get into real estate is for like the paycheck. There's no ceiling on how much you can make, but at the end of the day, it's really not about the paycheck for me. It's about who I can help, because it's one of the biggest, most like important accomplishments in their lives.
It is.
And even though I specialize in mobile homes, I do have a couple residential clients as well. And what I can't help but compare is there's always some sort of external help when it comes to the residential clients. They either have generational wealth, they either have just parents' money, or outside money, or investments and everything. But majority of all of my mobile home clients, whether they buy a mobile home in cash or they buy it and they finance it, is like they really just like pulled what is it called? Pulled their boots or whatever, from bootstraps or whatever, and they just really just saved up just to see what they can afford. Like just something small in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
So,
What I thought you meant by external help, which brought up a thought to me, is that, these residential clients, I never tell you not to do residential clients, but they will always have external help. What I thought you meant was like they'll always have another agent that can help them. But
that too.
and when I say that, these families, unfortunately, when they come to us, they're like, nobody's helping us.
Yeah.
Right?
If it's not worth their time, then it's like, why would I focus on a $300,000 deal when there's a $1.8 million deal that I can put all my time in, and it will be 5 times the commission check?
Exactly.
Which is just so unfortunate, because everyone deserves to be helped to achieve the American dream.
They deserve the right advice. They
Exactly.
deserve the equal opportunity to have that.
Advocacy.
Exactly. And wow, that's shocking. And then let's see. So since then, you've helped several families, and that sort of thing. And I mean, it's crazy how you've grown.
Yeah. I'm so passionate about mobile homes. I know that when we go to parties and they're like, how's the market? Franco's like, I don't know, because he doesn't want to talk about real estate. I'm like, let me tell you about how the market is right now. And I will tell you everything.
Oh man, I have this weird thing about when I'm in the moment with friends, I don't want to talk about work, and but
work is my life. But that's because I don't view this as work. When I say that, I really get emotionally invested in a lot of my clients. I really mean it. I still keep in touch with a lot of my clients.
Yeah, I really want to check in. We should call that daughter and that family and see how they've been doing. That would be cool to have them on the show, even if they'd be open to it. But
they don't speak English.
They don't speak English. Got it.
So,
but
I can translate for them, I guess, even though my Vietnamese is not good.
Let's talk about a favorite, one of the top deals that do you have a favorite client in mind or story? I know we had Mirna that we were shaping to talk about, but I don't know if you have one that you
I
would
think
rather
Mirna,
talk
and then my recent client in Village, when they were super stressed out, the Texas one, and then you were just passing by and they came out, they're like, let me tell you about Sunny. And you're like,
okay.
What did she do? And I'm like, what did I do?
Oh man. So your one is Sunny's a fast learner. I think you were also a fast learner because you knew the impact you were making, and when you can translate that, it makes a difference. So you learn fast, right? And you do a great job. So yeah, let's talk about that. So one is this seller. We're talking about the seller, right?
Yeah. So I'll kind of summarize. I've been doing. Can I say the?
Don't name the companies, but they do. Oh wait, what?
No. Can I name the park specifically?
Sure.
Okay. So I've been doing a lot of business this year in Village of the Four Seasons. It just came about that way. I've sold maybe 5 properties this year in that park. And then when I do that, I start reaching out to like the neighbors to start inviting them to open houses, just so that because I know nosy neighbors, they always want to know
Yeah.
what the next house looks like and everything. So I go knock on this door, and it was like the second door that I knocked before it hit like 90 degrees, and I had to go home. But he opened the door. He's like, "Oh, I've like seen your open house signs and everything. Like we're looking to buy a house in Texas, but we want to list this out first." I'm like, "Okay, no problem. I'm not going to pressure you. Here's my card. Here's the free comps that I think your house could sell for. Reach out to me when you're ready."
Mm-hmm.
I think like 5 months later, they reach out. They're like, "Sunny, I'm ready to put my house on the market." So I go meet with them, and they basically told me how bad of an experience that they had. Sorry.
So I want to add too is that
And I won't name
the
them.
wife is in the real estate space too.
Yeah, she used to work for
Don't name
another.
the-
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not.
I don't
going
wanna-
to. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
not. I'm not gonna name it.
I'm new to
She-
this podcasting
she's-
thing, and I'm like, I don't want to name drop bad. I don't want to talk bad. But
no,
anyway.
no, no. But she was working at like a previous real estate company too. I won't name the name, but then they had listed their home with another real estate company in the mobile home space. Not naming any names, but they got to the point where they were pending. The listing agent didn't do their due diligence and basically dragged it on for a month and a half while they were pending on a home in Texas. Ultimately, mobile home didn't sell.
Yeah.
They lost the house in Texas. They were so traumatized by the entire event. They were like, "No, I'm not going to sell my house." 5 years later, I come knocking on the door, and they're like, "Oh, well, we thought you were really nice. You didn't pressure us to do anything." So we're like, "What do we have to lose? Let's just go with her."
Mm-hmm.
So along the lines, even though they were really nice, we hit obstacles. And I always say that I'm kind of like 30% real estate agent, but 70% therapist. Because,
Yeah.
well, because it's like a really stressful time. Because they were already scared. They're like, "We're pending on another house in Texas. It's a really aggressive timeline. We cannot lose this house.
Mhm.
It's on 2 acres of land and everything." And I'm like, "I will not let you down." I'm like, "I hope I won't. I don't let them down."
What's a fascinating thing about being in this space too is that, being a mobile home expert, you aren't just negotiating with the opposite party of an
Mhm.
agent, you're also negotiating with vendors. You also have access to vendors that maybe wouldn't work with a regular client, but because Sunny brings to the table a ton of business for this contractor, you now become a part of Sunny's network that has access to fixing these items
Mhm.
at a discount or at a better service without the client actually having to deal with a contractor because you manage that whole thing,
Yeah,
right?
and I think that's where the corporate project management comes into play
Nice.
because I had a lot of experience managing not only internal teams but also like external vendors in like multiple countries too. So that really came into play. So I feel like that's why I love mobile homes and
Uh-huh.
everything because honestly, I loved project management.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually really love doing, even though I'm not the most detail oriented on paper wise and stuff. I love the managing, like socially and making sure that everything meets the deadline on
Yeah.
time so that we can close.
Mhm.
So
That's amazing. And you do a good job of that because one of the things that people don't really see the behind the scenes of,
mhm.
it sucks because sometimes when you sell your home,
Yeah.
you only really have one experience,
Mhm.
right? But when you help someone sell their home, that seller normally might have to deal with finding their own handyman, finding their own contractor, dealing with them coming late and that sort of thing,
Mhm.
or not trusting, or possibly even sometimes getting scammed by contractors, right?
Mhm.
But you take on all of that work
Yeah.
as a part of your service
Mhm.
and
All
help.
in house.
Yeah. So basically, and you do all that. You take on all of those problems for your clients because you care about them too, and you make it
Mhm.
happen, right?
Yeah.
So and your sellers are ecstatic and so happy.
Mhm.
These are another client. These are other clients that were so happy as well, and maybe we can show some photos or the clip of them celebrating. But these are real families that want to move on with their life, and sometimes if they don't get the right service, they aren't they aren't going to be able to move on with their life, right? So,
And that's why I try to be understanding too, because I try to put myself in like my client's shoes, whether it's sellers or buyers, because yeah, they want to trust me as a real estate agent, and I build that rapport with them because I do treat them and advocate for them as if they are my friends, and I want what's best for them. But I am cognizant and aware that when I let's say refer them a contractor, I know to get multiple bids because, and I, so that they know that that contractor is going to be the best, like not only best quote, but best service for them too. But I want to give them a choice and not just say, I work with this contractor, take it or leave it. I like go the extra mile to get at least 2, 3, maybe 4 bids and then present it to them and see which route that they want to take.
And because, these regular clients don't deal with contractors often. They don't. They aren't aware of what's not what they should know about. And because you're there representing them, you know what's right. Like, is a 20% deposit correct, or is this person trustworthy versus this person, right? And you know the ins and outs, which can really eliminate a lot of risk for these clients as well. Tell me a bit about what's it like. What's it like negotiating with, what brings what value does Sunny bring when it comes to working with an opposite party as far as negotiating deals, whether it's being on you representing them on the buyer side. Actually, we talked about the seller, so let's talk about a buyer side and how you helped someone buy a home. What's, where do you fight for them? What are things that you look out for them for? Where does Sunny make a difference in that?
Yeah, so buyers make up about 80% of my clientele. So majority of the time I am representing buyers, and I serve as not only an advocate during negotiations or the entire process, but also a guide too. So majority of my clients, they've never really entered the real estate market before. They've heard of terms like pre-approval, escrow contingencies, but they don't really know how that falls into the big picture and how that aligns with the timeline. And especially with mobile homes where there's an additional hoop that you have to jump through for park approval, it can get really overwhelming to them. So when I meet with my clients, first step is I guide them through the pre-approval process, because up until they meet me, they're probably or mostly been window shopping on, let's say, Zillow and Redfin. So they have an idea of what they're looking for, how many bedrooms, where they want to be, et cetera, but they don't really know what their buying power is. And in order to get to that next step, to go on listing, like go on showings, look at listings, submit offers, and eventually close on a home, you have to get pre-approved. Once I get that pre-approval letter, what I feel like really makes me stand out from other real estate agents is I make personalized, curated lists for each and every one of my clients. So the more I talk to you, the more we go on showings, I really internalize what my clients are looking for. So-and-so might really like a big backyard. So-and-so might really like a certain type of layout because she has X amount of kids and she wants some privacy, things like that. So I'll send them an initial list of off-market and active listings for them to choose to, and we can start going on showings. And in the meantime, I also have my notifications on all the major websites that they might be looking at, Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, so that when as listings pop up and I see them, I'm like, oh my gosh, so-and-so might really like this listing. Let me just send it to her. So I'm very proactive on keeping an eye on what's out there in the market. So let's say fast forward into negotiations. Like I said, I'm not...
Let me add a few things too, because you've had a lot of situations. Well, one, when you started, you were kind of like, no offense, but like a below average agent, that sort of thing. And then you've learned a lot since then. But I know you've had a lot of very troubled situations, clients that maybe with everything on the market out there, you were able to find, I think you forgot one big element, which was kind of like the off-market deals. Working with you have access to off-market mobile homes that haven't hit the market, and just having a week ahead in advance of knowing properties that are coming up those have made it versus break it for a lot of your clients, right?
Yeah, especially the one that I just closed today, actually.
Oh.
She was only pre-approved for 250 and with like 1500 space rent. And she wanted to live in Sunnyvale. And those who know the market, Sunnyvale, very, very hard market. And she wanted 3 bedrooms too. So that's going for about like 320 here in Sunnyvale and stuff. But because we had an off market, it was an older mobile home, but 3 bedrooms, basically everything she was looking forward to. And the space rent was only 1400 in Sunnyvale in Plaza Del Rey, which was below market value too.
Yes.
So we hopped on that right away, and we were pending within 3 days, and we just closed today.
Oh, that's great. So, I mean, like, that's one of those big value adds of working with you is that you have kind of these weird competitive advantage to be able to kind of have a heads up on the market, right? It's kind of like having inside information and being able to leverage that when you can, right? And that's one big thing that people miss out on as well is like, hey, I could work with my friend that's familiar with real estate and transactions and they could just do it for me versus actually working with a team that's on the ground every single day. Everyone on our team's only thinking about what home is available, what deal is this, what's the rents on that, what are interest rates like? And that's all we breathe is mobile homes and familiar with it. So if there is some opportunity, you know, a buyer's going to have a chance to get a home at I don't know, 5,000-10,000 below, or have a first look at a home before it gets accessible to everybody, right? And you find these opportunities that work out. And then the other thing to add too is that you also have a bit of a competitive advantage because of your network as well, right? So you're familiar with these with how the park approval process works. You know what's right and wrong and where their issues. Actually, I'm going to another third topic, but you also know agents that are involved with this as well.
Yes.
Right. So agents, whether we like to say it or not, will work with someone because they've worked with them before and they can trust that they're not going to screw them over on something like that, right?
Yeah. And then there's been multiple times where, because we write we're competing against multiple offers. And if the listing agent and I have worked together before, because mobile home market, we're bound to work with each other multiple times, and our offer is against another offer that's really similar. I've had it twice already this year where they'll advise their seller to work with my team because they know how we work and they know that we're not going to like pull out for like no reason and just drag this on and stuff. So.
Yeah. And you know, that itself having like, you know, when it's like a 6-7 offer situation, having that relationship of past history, having that connection, if you have 2 offers side by side, you have a little bit of an advantage of as well getting an offer accepted and being able to say that you've done X transactions here already, and we know that we can get a park approval. That's going to make that seller more comfortable to accept the offer that Sunny's representing, right? So that's a big thing. What are a few things that people should look out for when it comes to buying a mobile home?
Like mobile home agent ones?
Oh, I guess, yeah.
What am I?
What is the difference between a regular mobile home agent a regular real estate agent when it comes to buying a mobile home versus someone that's very experienced with mobile homes?
Again, I'm like getting riled up because because there's been an influx of residential agents coming into the market, and it's fine, you know. But the thing that frustrates me the most when I'm representing the seller, or what I do as a buyer agent, is after the pre-approval, it's not that I just send you random listings. I do the work and I vet each listing, because after I have to verify your monthly income too, because I want you to look at homes that I know you're going to qualify for the park for. So what residential agents fail to realize, or those who are not familiar with the mobile home process, is they don't take into account park approval. So they will submit the offer with unrealistic timelines. Not only that, but they don't do the vetting and they don't confirm that their clients will make park approval. So once their offer is accepted, then they have to start the park approval. Their hopes are up, only to be declined. So they not only wasted all this time, but now they're just so discouraged. And when I'm representing the seller, I made the mistake at the beginning of the year that I assumed that all real estate agents do the vetting, and that's just not the case. So now I have very, very strict like vetting processes when I receive offers for my sellers, and before I even and I have to confirm that the buyer will get park approval, and I have to see some sort of proof on that before I even present it to the seller.
Because you want to protect
The seller, my
your
client.
client from any other problems. And that's a big
Exactly.
thing. And it's very much like, I don't know, this specialist approach, right? You know, you don't go to, if you have a problem with your eyes, you don't go to a dentist. You know, they're both doctors. But, you know, there's sometimes when it comes to doing a lot of people feel that working with a residential person, it's a whole nother animal. And there's so many, it's a different risk profile. There's different things you got to look out for. There's different mistakes that you could get sued for. And you want to work with someone that works with that and that knows that if I'm in a problematic situation, who do I go to? What can I do here? Do I have to lose everything, or can I still fight for it? If I have a chance to fight for it, what can I do? Right? Because we've been through a lot of transactions around mobile homes. We know exactly the laws that can help protect our clients. We know if there's an issue, who do we reach out to, whether it's legal advice, whether it's broker advice, in order to get this fixed and resolved.
Exactly.
And be able to, you know, because we got to understand that there might be problems that come up, and you want to have the comfort of knowing that the person on your side representing you is going to fight for you, right? So that's key. Wow, what a great conversation. I just realized we're short for time, but any last thoughts that Sunny has to say about anything about mobile homes? I'm sure we're going to do several other episodes of this, but final thoughts from Sunny.
No really final thoughts. Just say that if you ever need any mobile home services, shameless plug, consider working with me because of not only what I can provide you, but I don't know. I'm just so passionate about the industry and just helping people get into and achieve the American dream. But not only that, too, for those who have not considered mobile homes because they don't think that it's sexy and whatnot, I do really encourage you to go online, Redfin, do some research, go into like an open house too, just to see what they can look like, because I feel like this is the only last remaining resort for affordable housing in the Bay Area.
It is, yeah.
Especially with the supply and demand too. Even mobile homes are getting expensive as well. So that's just my last take on things.
Yeah. And I think that's, you know, very much true. Is like, hey, you do a good job. I'll vouch for you on that. And that, you know, I know that people working with you trust you and are super happy, right? So anyways, thank you guys for watching this episode. Hopefully you guys learned something from it, and then comment,
subscribe.
And our team is doing a good job on putting this together. So thank you guys. All right.